Welcome back to a new video. Today I will be walking you through the process of retrobrighting a few of my consoles, a Dreamcast, a PS1, and my recently acquired SNES. If you like this type of content, make sure you like the video, leave me your comment, subscribe, and hit the bell to get notifications of when I upload new videos. Enjoy. What we have here is the disassembled parts for the PS1. And also Dreamcast. What I will do is clean these parts. For this project, I also disassembled the Super Nintendo, which I recently unboxed. Which I apologize, I don't have footage for, but it was disassembled. So now, what I have prepared here is just tap water with dish soap. And I used a little paintbrush to scrub the parts. Scrub all the parts with soapy water. So I dipped all the parts, starting off with the Dreamcast, with the lid and the top cover, and also the bottom one. The cleaning was very well overdue. So this was a great excuse to clean these parts. So using my paintbrush, which is pretty nice because it lets you dig in and brush all the crevices and lift any dirt from the surface of the part. This is a Dreamcast that I have owned for the past 20 years. So I'm fairly certain this was the first time I actually washed each part of the shell like you're seeing here. First time ever. But I've owned this Dreamcast for that long. So the control port lid, wiped it off. I scrubbed it off with the paintbrush. And all of the other tiny little parts, the power button and the reset button, or the open button, excuse me. Now, I did the same that I'm doing here, that you are seeing here, with the PS1 and also the Super Nintendo. Same procedure. Using tap water at room temperature and dish soap, and scrubbed away. Okay, so now that all the parts are cleaned with soapy water, I soaked the parts in clean water to rinse off all of the soap, and I laid them out on a towel on the floor so that I could get this shot of all the parts, and you can see how yellow they are. I also did this to one of the Super Nintendo controllers. You can see it right here. So all of these parts have been scrubbed with soapy water, rinsed and dried. For this step, I filled a glass container with volume 40 developer peroxide cream, and using a small paintbrush, soaked the paintbrush with peroxide. Now, a little safety tip: always use gloves when handling peroxide because it can burn your skin badly. I then took each plastic part and applied a thick coating of peroxide on it, making sure to cover the part 100%. Then I took the coated part and placed it on top of a pre-cut piece of stretch wrap and wrapped the entire part. I thought I needed to rearrange the parts because I wasn't too convinced. So if you can see here, I used a little rack that has 2 tiers. It kind of helped me place the parts and have them separate from each other. So this is the first UV bath. Now, 17 hours later, I decided to pull the Super Nintendo parts out, clean them, and put a new coating of peroxide. And I believe I did this too for the rest of the parts. Here I changed the rack for a taller one, which forced me to cover a gap. As you can see there's a gap that formed because the rack was taller, so I used extra foil to cover up that gap and not let the UV light escape, essentially. This was after the second UV bath, and by second I mean I interrupted it after 17 to 20 hours and put them inside of the bath again. So this was after the second UV bath. So here I disconnected the LEDs from the power source to be more comfortable checking out the parts. So what I'm showing here is the bottom part of the SNES, which shows a lot of improvement. And here you can see how the PS1 top lid and cover are pretty much white now, which is great. This is the bottom part of the Dreamcast. I knew this method works because I've seen it all over YouTube. It's a thing that people do to de-yellow plastic. And so, see, this is the rack that I used this time, which is a larger rack. There's the lid of the Dreamcast. This larger rack is wider and taller, so I could fit more parts more, separately. You can see now the top part of the SNES is way better than what it looked like, but I was still not satisfied. I was happy with the results, but I thought to myself, I wonder if I leave it longer, if I reapply peroxide cream and leave it for a longer time, what would happen? Here I put them together to kind of see the top and bottom, how they looked. And And here I'm pulling the bottom part of the PS1. Also, I think at the very bottom I had the controllers. Yes, these showed a major improvement. The controller pretty much returned to its original color. All the buttons for the controller and the Dreamcast and the PlayStation 1. And these are the Super Nintendo parts. Let's give the SNES top cover one last look on the inside as well. And the bottom part as well before we put it one more time. By the way, for this UV light box, I saw different iterations, different types of UV light boxes. Some of them had the LEDs installed on the outside facing inward and a layer of foil wrapping the container over the LEDs. For my case, I decided to have everything inside. Making this UV light box was definitely a challenge. Cutting the foil to length on all sides, attaching each piece to the walls of the container, measuring, cutting and soldering each LED strip and installing it along the walls. Let me know if you are interested in learning more in detail how I made this box. Comment below. So after almost 40 hours in the UV bath, this is the result of de-yellowing the parts. You see the Dreamcast returned pretty much to its white, I'd say almost white color. The PS1 improved a whole lot, and the Super Nintendo controller came back pretty much to its original color, which is pretty cool. Pretty cool to see. So I was happy with the results for the Dreamcast and the PS1 and the Super Nintendo controller. But for the Super Nintendo itself, I thought I want to give it yet a third bath, yet another try. So what I did is, this time only, I reapplied peroxide to just the bottom and the top lid. The rest of the parts, maybe just the power and the reset button, I reapplied peroxide. So I was happy with the rest of the parts, so I just decided to set those aside and work on the SNES one more time. Wasn't really happy with the results on the SNES, so I washed the parts, bottom and top lid, applied another coating of Volume 40 Developer Cream peroxide, and left it for another full day, I believe. And this is the result I got, which, if you can see here, it looks way, way better. So total was 62 hours in the UV bath. You can see here there's a huge difference. So 62 hours in total this part spent inside of this UV light box that I created. And now I was pretty happy. I was thinking this is pretty much as good as that it will get. I decided to stop there and pull everything out and remove the stretch wrap, clean out the parts, dry them up, and check out the final result. So it was pretty great. I thought I was satisfied with the results. So this pretty much concluded the de-yellowing process. This time for the reset button and the power button, I didn't wrap the part in saran wrap. Maybe I should have. I don't know if that affected the de-yellowing. It improved, not so much. That original purple color from those buttons is hard to recover. So, okay. So now you can see here the final result for the Super Nintendo. I was really impressed with the results. It's a pretty good color. So I was able to reassemble it, and this is how it looks. So the SNES reassembled front view, it was pretty great. Side view, you'll also see the other side. There was a section on the back that I could not release the plastic because of some solder points. You can see down there where the power hookups are. I could not release that plastic, so that had to stay like that, unfortunately. But the rest was pretty cool. I like the results. Thank you for watching. If you made it to the end, please check out the links I will place here to my other videos on my channel. See you guys next time.